Alright, so today is September 7th, going into the evening. Time to put everything away. This is quite dry. Very nice. So, this one not so much. But this one definitely. This I'm going to be using as a herbicide. These still need to be cooked, so I'll just move them around, bring them in. Same thing, move them around, bring them in. Those will be cooked. This is what was on the tray. Bring that, crunch them in, and then bring them in the inside in the house. Put them in a jar, leave the jar open, let it brew. There's still damp a little bit. These are just salvaged for craft. Those are the ones that was boiled in that sludge. I just haven't really had a chance to wash those yet. Pot's been cooling for a little while, so I'm going to strain it tomorrow. Just let it seep and soak. You can see it's still hot. Right? Kind of reminds you of a campfire. Right? You're out in the farms doing something out here, right? So it kind of gives off a weird kind of do you see that smoke? Well, it's not smoke. It's steam. Alright. That's kind of cool. Different. Anyway, I'll just stir that up and bring that in. This is all the bristles from those brushes. I went through something like 4 brushes. So I'm going to, tomorrow, look around for some rusty nails. And then I think the next batch, I'm going to do some rusty nails. Or I'm going to at least fill this up and let them soak for a while. Maybe put the nails in there and then just let this soak. I'll put a little bit of water in this so they can just soak. Here's my bones. They're kind of cool. So we'll bring those in. These are the ones that I'm going to throw into the dehydrator as soon as I'm done cleaning up. Because these ones I'm going to keep for maybe a face mask. I'm telling my kids, it takes off your skin. The first layer of your skin. And then underneath, it's like baby skin. And I've never had a face mask. So I might give myself a face mask. I burnt my back really bad out here, people. I should get one of my kids to take a little clip of it doing these things out here. Anyway, I'm dehydrating those. Those are the walnuts that I husked today. That's Mr. Walnut. And then these ones here are the ones that are just simply for craft. Right. These are not edible. These ones will not be coming in. These ones will be shellacked. And like I said, probably have a hole drilled through them, depending on how stable they are. I don't know what that is. I guess I cooked that. I must have cooked that. Yeah, that's herbicide. I cooked that yesterday. That's the garbage crap. This will be herbicide. I'm going to take this to the side of the house. I'm not salvaging those nuts. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know. I'm getting tired. We'll see. But those nuts are those nuts. Now you know why we're not eating those nuts. Because they've been sitting in water, and they were sitting in this bucket, and some of them had cooked. And anyway, I'm bringing it in here, and I'll put everything away. Right. This is not molding. This has been sitting here for, what, 3 days now? Right? I don't see no mold. Oops, sorry. This is what I made yesterday. Because I'm going to be boiling this down. Right now, I'm just trying to get a handle on this stuff. I don't see no film, nothing on it. So this is good. So, once I get a little more of a handle on those trays, whether it's dry or whatever, really I only got 2 more to cook up or dry them completely, right? And then I went and picked off a few blackberries today and went and got a few more walnuts. Mr. Walnut, right, because he's still dropping his seeds, right, from the tree. I don't know. I went to go get some more blackberries, and then I came across a whole bunch of hair dye. Like, this thing is full of, and there's stuff in this stuff. So I don't know if that's a sign or what. I don't know. Maybe I might take some of this and then take some of that and mix it up, and maybe that will help to make the paint. We don't know. We don't know what kind of stain we're getting out of this. I was thinking of maybe mixing this up with an actual stain that you can buy from Home Depot, half and half or something, just to kind of spread it out a little further. I'm not sure until I try it and see how well it stains. But we'll see. Okay. So, nothing moving in here yet. Still very nice and clean though. Okay, just to recap, August 7th. I think I've been doing this about 3 days in a row now. Tomorrow, the only thing I'm doing is cooking. Okay. I did get some more walnuts. I know I got nuts to be thinking. It's nuts to be thinking about getting more nuts. But anyway, the tree is still dropping nuts, so why not, right? So here is this bits and pieces of, and it's nice and dry. These ones are dry, but obviously we're just gonna let them air out for now, right? This one still needs another day or so. So end up putting that in a jar later after it's completely dry. Crafts. This is for if you want to thicken up to make your ink a little more thicker, I suppose, or your whatever it is. Still damp, so I'm gonna let this dry. Husks in there that need to be boiled. Husks in here that need to be boiled, and there's some sort of little black beetle crawling around in the bottom of that. So anyway, I did give the chickens those little larvae, little bits and pieces of the walnut husk, not too much. If they ate it, well, I'm thinking like this, it's a good dewormer for them. So I may keep a little this around in that form every few months, you know, just break it up into small little pieces and throw it out there when they're pecking as a natural dewormer. Something to think about. Here's these ones that I found with my little grandson today. Not that many, but they're still falling from the tree. Where's the one that the one that Nana had to knock off with a stick? My little grandson, he's seen it. Right, Andre?
Yes.
And you said, get it, Nana. So I'm jumping up and down with this stick, trying to get this walnut. I don't know. There's one of these ones anyway.
Okay. Where's that?
That's a walnut. That's a black walnut.
Oh.
And see, look, oops.
That one?
Oh, this right here?
Yes.
These things, believe it or not,
No.
hold on. This little thing here, I found, today's what, Sunday? Found this on Friday. Hold on. Found this on Friday, and it was just, watch, that's glass. Please don't distract me. Don't, hold on. Found this on Friday out in the road. It was wide open. No, I'm talking. Hold on a minute. It was wide open. I put it on the table. It was wide open. I got up this morning. Just hold on a minute. I got up this morning, and the thing was closed. And I'm thinking, who's on my porch switching my pine cones around? Because I didn't know that these things will open and just hold on a second. Okay, I don't know why he's so pushy, but anyway, got up this morning, went outside, and the bloody thing was all closed up. And I'm thinking, who's running around on my porch in the middle of the night switching pine cones around? And then throughout the day, it opened up. So let's see if it closes itself over the nighttime. I didn't know these things open and close on their own, but they do. Here's these oysters that I had my daughter go buy yesterday for me. The oyster is in the fridge. I haven't cooked them yet. Anyway, I'm just going to take them, and I think I'm just going to throw them into this bucket. And let's see what happens, members and friends. Let's see what kind of stain we got here. Let's see if it works. This is not cooking. This is just sitting. We're going to put them all in there. And we're just gonna let it sit there like that for a day or so. We'll look at them tomorrow. This is when they were cooked, right? But these ones have been sitting in my yard for like ever. Like, they're nice and shiny. But yeah, no, these shells sat in my yard for like 2 years. Around my yard. Anyway. Okay. So I'm just putting everything away. I have to bring it in because if I don't, the raccoons will do something stupid. So this is herbicide, so I'm going to bring that in, and that will be going in the yard pretty soon. Alright, people. One more thing to show you after this. Okay, so on with the bounty here. So this is walnut husk that I may do something with for myself. I don't know what it is with this dentist. They're not helping me with this tooth I have a problem with. They want to investigate. They're trying to send me to some specialist that wants to charge me $163 just for a consultation fee. As if I can afford that. Like, honest to God, my welfare check when I got it was $897. You do the math, people, and I still got BC Revenue calling me up for their ambulance bill for when my daughter was, like, you know, in mass mode of depression and all this other stuff when Audrey was taken away. So, you know, like, welcome to privatized healthcare here. But in the meantime, these are the walnuts the daddy walnuts, right, that I did today. That's why my hands are darker, right? So we're going to dry them for a little while, or maybe I'll just leave them out. I think what happens is when I dry them, you know, I think they open up. Because if you look here, they're not open right now. But I bet you if I dry them, that's when they start to open up. I mean, this one here, maybe. But the majority of them, no. So maybe we'll just let those dry like that for now. These I'm going to dehydrate for sure. Because this, I don't know. I may use it as a face scrub to give myself at age 52 a face scrub. for the last 4.5 years of being out in this yard. Under the sun, in the grit, in the dirt, in the sand, in the mud. Histamines. Or maybe I'll get brave and grind it up and take a little bit of this powder and brush this tooth of mine to try and take away the pain, because as it is right now, this dentist hasn't done anything for me for the last couple of years, and I can't afford to go for consultation at this point. I'm saying pull it, they're telling me not to. So nothing's getting done. Year after year, nothing's getting done. They clean my teeth. They want to take x-rays. I don't like x-rays. I tell them no, but they say they need it, and then they tell me there's no infection, but they don't know what to do. So, anyway, last of the blackberries. I thought there was no more blackberries, but there is. So maybe tomorrow, if I have a little time, maybe I'll try something new and either make blackberry pie or maybe I'll make blackberry muffins. So this is what I wanted to show you, though. There's that stuff for paint, right? This one's on the inside, so it will go with the one that's outside in a separate jar. These walnuts are the ones that sunk to the bottom. These walnuts, there's a big basket full. Hold on here. So we got a big basket full. And this, which little fruit flies are flying around all over the place. So I need to get up on these things and start cracking them open, because these moths around this house are just something pathetic. So in the next couple of days, I'm going to start cracking them open, harvesting the meat. Depending on the state of it, I may or may not give it a dehydration in the dehydrator for about 5 or 6 hours. And then I'm going to vacuum seal them in some bags. And then I'm going to freeze them into, this one feels empty. I bet you that one's empty. This one's not. So we'll see. And then we'll measure out and see how much nut I got. Right? We'll see. And then of course, we'll see how many of those we get for crafts. Alright. So that's it, members and friends. Was it worth it? Is it worth doing what I'm doing? Right? It's kind of a little intensive labor. Right? But I guess we don't know until we get to the end product of everything that I'm doing. So, we'll see. Okay, members and friends, so now we're going on to like day 4 or something like that. Anyway, I just pulled out these shells from what's been sitting in this liquid over here. So, I don't know. Maybe I need to take them out and kind of just scour them down a little bit so that like here you can see before it dries on and it leaves that mark. You know, you kind of want to make it more smooth, right? This one's not so bad, but there's still pieces of oyster on there. So maybe like I said, I'll bring them in and I'll just give them a little brush to make it more smooth and then throw them back in that solution. I'm going to be boiling that again anyway. But for now, what I want to talk about is this, because this has been sitting here for a couple of days now. This was the first batch that I made. And hold on. Let's see if we can do this. As you can see, maybe, can you see that? There's a film on there. So now whether that's mold growth growing, or just residue accumulating because this jug is settling, I don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 2, that's about a tablespoon or so of vinegar into the mix, right into there, and then I'm going to shake it up, and that will help to alleviate mold growth. And we're just going to monitor it every few days. I'm not going to add any more liquid in here, right? It would be nice if we could, you know, use one for ink. Now this one here, when I boiled this one, it had no husks. All it had was the liquid water with the vinegar from the two, one from the pot and one from the bucket. I strained it, I boiled the liquid, and then as I was cleaning the shells, I think I added a few more, like a bit more liquid in there, right? But in terms of actual husks, no. So, that would be this one, right? And then this is the real grody one. So we kind of got a mixture of stuff here, right? So 1, 2, I guess 3, 4. Pretty sure that's how it works. So anyway, I'm going to put the vinegar in here now. I'm going to stir it around and see what happens. Okay, as you can see, we've already had a chemical reaction. Alright. Is that mold? So I'm just going to swoosh it around gently, just to kind of mix up that vinegar in there. And whatever it's doing, it's bringing it to the surface. And then I maybe strain this again, We'll strain it again. Maybe we need to strain it a few times. Okay, so what I did is I took a little scrub brush to them and I tried to scrub off. These are the ones that I cooked before that were kicking around my yard forever. So I'll probably just scrub them a little bit and throw them in the pot too. I think that's what we're going to do today. So what I did is I took the solution from there, it's just liquid. I put it in the pot. I strained the pot. This is the grody crap. That was the one that was really gross. This is mulch for herbicide, right? The liquid, we'll do something with it later. In the meantime, I'm going to cook these shells because they seem to have retained their color a little better. Maybe, maybe not. You can see where I scoured it here, right? Alright, so I'm gonna just throw these in the pot and I'm gonna cook them. Alright. I'm just gonna seep this down. Throw these all in here. I'm gonna throw this in here because it's a metal, right? To give it more pigmentation. This is all the bristles from scouring those nuts, and they're rusting and whatnot. So I'm just going to pop that in there just to give it pigmentation. So you can see it's almost a different color. Throw that in there. Maybe I'll go find a couple of rusty nails, put them in there, and then basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep this on low for the rest of the day, and I'm going to simmer it down. I'm going to bring it to a boil first. And then I'm going to simmer it down on low for the whole day. Oops, sorry. And then these, I'm just going to go and give them a little scour, and then I'm going to throw them in the pot too. Right? So we'll be back. Okay, so there's my rusty nails. That's a bit. So we're just going to put them in the pot. Okay. Supposed to give it some pigmentation. And we're going to pop these in there too. This is when Dan was around. Everything got wet when he was working on that shed out in the back on the side there. So I'm just going to pop those in there and let them cook away, and maybe they'll clean them up and I might be able to use them after the fact. Right? So you get my point. Oh yeah. And we're going to put those, I just gave them a quick wash. And we're going to put those back in there. I won't know which is which. Maybe I'll be able to tell, maybe I won't after the fact. But we want to make something nice here so that the kids can make something nice for their parents. Take it home. Maybe a little key holder or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Okay, so that's an active hornet's nest. I've been watching it. I thought there was nothing living in that thing, but it's crawling around in there. Obviously, I turned on the camera too late. So I've got this little nest, which I'm going to scoop up tonight in a jar. And then, where is it? There's that one. Probably why I have lots of hornets, but they're always making nests in this house. And then I've got this one, oops, which is the big one that was downstairs underneath this floorboard. So, yeah. On to a new project. These are my potatoes seed balls. Apparently there's like anywhere between 100 to 400 potato seeds. And you're not really too sure what type of potato seed you're getting. So, I have thousands of potato seeds. Okay, so this is what I've been working on today. So there you go, people. Even white people use gray tape. White women do anyway. I don't know how to secure this other than I'm trying to prevent it from leaking. I put the silicone all in through there. I don't know. Anyway. And then I kind of had to build up that piece. So, I don't know. It's already starting to sweat. I didn't really give it a chance to dry, so hopefully it will dry. and then over there as well. And I'm siliconing, right? So I guess I should check it tomorrow. Okay, so as you can see, I'm testing out that pot right now. Alright, I didn't strain it, it's still there. I can still sit and everything in the pot there with the oyster shells and the nails, but I wanted to see what it was going to do. So, we'll see more in a minute. Okay, so I'm just using this little X Club here as the test run. Right? Do a couple of areas here. I'm debating whether I should do the whole door. I probably should, because it's kind of like, it was just something that was kicking around. It will change its color. It will be much darker. So, I don't know. I kind of like it reddish. But I'll think about it. I'm doing the bottom anyway. But you can see where I did it here. But that could be because it's still wet. Right? So we'll see. Old birdhouse has been kicking around forever. So it's wet, right? So it looks darker. But wait, I'll put a couple more coats on and we'll let it dry and see what happens. Alrighty-o, I decided to give it a brush. Do it once or twice anyway. Once, let it dry, and maybe do it again. Just because it's, beat up, right? It was something I found in spring cleanup a couple years ago. Sat outside for a year, whatever. This side's not so bad, so I don't have to do this side. This side's okay, right? And, yeah, so I just wanted to point that out. So this is the way it looks like now. Hold on. Maybe if I stand back here. We'll see what it looks like after. I'm going to get a nice dark, deep, rich color. This is how much I've got in this little container here, and we'll see how far it spreads out. Okay, so that's empty. I got most of that done except for that. You can see where I'm going to have to take a little bit of a sandpaper, I guess, and just make it so that liquid can absorb into the wood. Obviously there's something there, right, that's preventing it from soaking into the wood. That's almost dry. It needs a few more coats. Looking kind of earthy. So I don't know, people. There's another piece in here. See, when it dries you don't really notice it, right? So it's hard to say. And oh yes, stuck that vinegar in that jar and look what happened. It got all cloudy up in there. So tomorrow, I'm just going to strain it very slowly. So maybe it's just bringing up the impurities in it. I don't know. Okay, so now I'm going to paint the wood that's there. And as you can see, I've done the door, but it's still wet. Okay, so as you can see, there is some kind of color to it. I'm going to wipe that off. So this is just, my Mod Podge little greenhouse here. So we're just touching it up a little bit. Okay, still testing this stuff out. So this is something that's been like weather worn for a long time. What I'm doing is, remember that mulch, members and friends? Okay, there's that mulch, right? Because it has a lot more pigmentation in it. Just mix it in with the, with this. Okay, a little bit. And I'm just going to paint this on, whoops. And I'm going to let it sit. Now this stuff here doesn't get a lot of rain here, and I fixed up today, right? Hopefully it won't leak in here anymore, I don't know. But you can see what I'm doing, members and friends. And I'm going to let this sit for the night after, let it dry, set, and then after probably give it a little bit of a spray. This is why I wanted the mulch, to give it more of a rich color, right? And while it dries, this stuff can seep into the wood. Right, so hold on a minute. Okay, I know you don't really see it, but there it is. We'll look at it tomorrow. So there you go. Putting everything away. I'm not cooking up anymore. I'm going to use up the solution that I have. Hold on. I'm going to use up the solution that I have, and then as I'm using it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear out a little bit in the garage here because I got to get down there and do other things, people, and other things in life to do, right? And where's that little doohickey thing for this? And anyway, I'm going to have my son carry the what do you call it? Pallets to the garage, and I'm going to paint them in the garage. And I'm going to let them dry and let them, what do you call it? Let the stain set, and then I'll just tarp them up, and hopefully the cats won't get into them. Right? And I'll use them when I need them, right? But other than that, this mulch, I'm going to bring it in, let it dry, and then as I need it, right, this right here, I think this one here is for herbicide. But the other one, that's just rind that hasn't been cooked up. I'm just going to let it dry. And then if and when I ever want to do this again, I have it. This is the one that you're going to powder up and put with the solution, right? There's one, and there's a bucket in there. And I got 2 buckets here. And as you can see, I used that stuff, right? So, I guess we'll be going on to pallets here pretty soon. I'll do them inside the garage. Okay. Okay, members and friends, that looks really good. It did very, very well. Now, how it's going to hold up in the rain, I don't know. And I may even stain it one more time. So, hold on a minute. Okay, so it kind of smells like walnut husks in here. Sweet. You can smell it's the walnut. This is dry. I'm going to bring this in because it's getting damp. It's going to start raining pretty soon. I find boiling this stuff with it makes it darker, which is good. It's giving me what I want, right? That looks much different than, say, that side. You can see the difference, right? And this was with just a light film of pulp, where this one had a lot more pulp on it, right? So if you do that a couple more times real fast, right, it's going to get even darker. How long it's going to hold up if it was weathered, like say like a pallet, it remains to be seen. Obviously no sheen on it because there's no shellac of any kind, right? So depending on the wood, you know, it seems this one I really like. This one I like a lot, actually. It looks so much nicer. So, I got other things to do, people. So, it's important to keep the mulch if you're looking for something darker, okay? In terms of stain, and throw in a couple of rusty nails, it seems to darken it up. Liquid by itself, you know, I don't know. If you're just looking to do something fast, like I did last night, take that pulp, mix it in with a bit of your ink, and away you go. So, where's that bottle? That's what I'm looking for. Where did I put it? Oh, I don't see it in here. Oh, there it is, members and friends. This is the one that I put vinegar in, right? 2 little capfuls. And within a couple of hours, it started to change. And so, is vinegar a good thing to put in after the fact, or is it better to do it when you're cooking it? You can see it there, right? So I'm going to strain it. Strain it off. And, you know, some of this stuff, No, maybe not this one. This one's more yard herbicide, right? But this one up here, I'm going to take out some of these. Oops. Dry them to get this. So when I start painting, I can add that paste in there. And then do it where it's not going to get rained on for a while, so it can completely permeate the wood, right? And then it will hold up the test of time through the rain. And hopefully it will act as an agent like that over there, which is stain from a hardware store that's been weatherized, because I haven't had any time to get out there and work on the hen house. But we're working on it, people. So I'm going to upload this now. Hold on. Okay, but before I do that, because I kind of want to move on to other things, like maybe our little seed balls here. Imagine that. I got thousands of seeds for potatoes. There's 100 to 400 seeds in these little seed balls, and that's just what I found. Right? There's more in that pile over there. But anyway, this stuff, for me, is turning out to be very valuable. Like I say, I kind of feel like I'm on the farm. And actually, I was talking, just hold on, I'll tell you that after. Maybe I'll go in and sit there for a couple minutes, talk to you. But for now, what I want to say is, I don't want to cook up any more of this until I kind of use up this stuff, right? But I've already determined that in order to make it a darker stain, I know I have to move around, people, I'm sorry. Okay, if you're looking for a darker stain, you're going to have to add in some pulp. You can't just use the liquid by itself. We're not just dealing with ink here. We need something that can permeate the wood and permanently stain it. So you're going to need some rind. Now this rind hasn't been cut. This is the green one, like this. I just husked it. I still got to do these babies yet, right? These big boys, but that's in a couple of days, right? I'm going to go to the tree one more time because he's still dropping the nuts, still dropping the fruit, right? So I'm going to go and gather a few more before I start, and then that will be my last batch. But for now, that's what this is. It's just the rind that I peeled for the most part. But I didn't cook these. But what you want to do is you want to dry them. I'm going to take these ones out. Okay, because mold is a fungus, it spreads, right? So if you take it out, chances are it won't infect other pieces, because this is already half dry. You know, you can keep those off for something else later on. But in terms of maybe putting it in a jar, like this, oh, I'm moving around, I know, people, I have to move. All right, this is all sun-dried. Okay, this is what I'll be using when I start painting. But this I don't want to cook up yet because I got enough liquid, but it needs to continue to dry. And what I'm trying to say is it's getting moist outside, so I can't really put it under the sun today. So I don't want it to spoil. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring it inside and just let it air in the inside of my house to continue the drying process. Right? That's important because you're going to need this for the purpose that I'm showing you that you can use it for. Right? I would probably say take out those little things just to, cut back on the growth, right? That can stay somewhere else and dry somewhere else. You can still cook them later, but if you're storing it for any length of time, like you're storing this should be completely dry. So that's going inside. This is just herbicide. So I'm only just kind of airing it out, drying it out a little bit. It's nothing that I have to bring on the inside. I don't really have a spot for it downstairs in my garage, and I don't want the animals shitting and pissing in it and digging around in it. So that's why I got it in here at this point. If I had a different location to put it till I needed it, because I have to go pull weeds before I can use this, right? So I just wanted to point out that, right? Looks like same thing with this one. This is same stuff. So I'm going to bring this in the house. I'm going to take out those pieces because they're not all like that, you can see. And these ones I'm going to bring into the house because it's damp outside, and I'm going to air dry it. Again, this is herbicide. This is just so it doesn't mold until I get ready to use it, right? So this is good. This is good. Okay, we're back. Okay, change of plans here. I've decided that I'm going to try and stain this one more time because I'm very curious. I want to get it nice, dark, deep, rich color. As for the door, I like the color just the way it is at this point, but I think this one needs to be a little darker, so I'm going to paint this again. Here's that stuff that you can grind up and make into a paste. Well, not a paste, but a powder. And then you can mix it in there like a tempera paste, right? To make it a little thicker, right? And a little more pigment. So I'm going to just put those in there versus grinding them up. I'm going to let them soak. Oops, sorry. I'm going to let them soak. And then hopefully they'll just disintegrate right into the liquid. If not, then, you know, again, just grind it up in a blender and then just put it in a bowl or in a jar and, you know, throw in a tablespoon when you need it, right? Kind of thing. This is the one that was cooked with the nails and the rusty stuff, and it's definitely darker. So, compared to the other ones. So, if you're looking for something really dark, then yeah, for sure, right? Add in some rusty nails or something. Or, you know, cook it in a cast iron pot or throw in a cast iron piece from a fence or something. Hold on. So, we'll see what happens here, right? This is our experiment, people. You know, and then after the fact, if you wanted to, you could put a little bit of shellac on it. So that's what I want to do. But I need this stuff to turn into a, you know, I need that, oops, sorry. Wandering eye. You know, I need this to disintegrate into it and give it that fiber, because I found that worked much better. And then I'm going to paint this little thing. The hornet's still flying around. Took away, oops, sorry. Took away one of their, this is already weather worn. So I'm going to put some of this mulch on it and see if we can get this really nice and dark. Right? Just, it's an old birdhouse. So we'll be back. Oh yes. Also want to say, if you can see, this is the other container, right? So versus this continuing to mold, I'm just going to fill it up with some water. Okay? And put a couple teaspoons or whatever, or a cup of vinegar in it, okay? And just, I'm going to let it sit for a day or two because I don't want to cook anymore, but this one's going, right? And I have a lot of pallets I have to do, so just to be on the safe side for stain for palette, I'm going to just soak this for a couple of days, then I'm going to cook it, right? But these ones over here, I'm bringing inside. And I'm just going to move them around like this in the house so they dry. And hopefully they won't mold anymore, right? And then when I'm ready to cook them, in say 3 months from now, I have them. Okay. A bit more stain. Later on when I get some time, I'll take this off and we'll see. You do kind of want to go along the grain line. And because you're using this little bit of pulp, it will dry. And then you can just take a rag and quickly wipe it off and it just comes off. If there's little bits and pieces, right? But you kind of want that to help set the stain in. As you can see, oops, I used all that liquid. So this didn't dissolve as quickly as I wanted it to. And as I thought, you're going to have to blend it up in a blender. So to make it a powder, so when you're ready to mix it, you just put the powder in and hopefully it will blend in better, right? So that when you paint, you get those little bits there just to help to solidify the paint, because that's where the pigmentation is, right? So we're going to let this dry and see what happens. So when you blend it up, maybe let the dust settle, right, before you open it up, eh? Got that much little bit of powder. Okay, members and friends, I'm downstairs now. The last time I was basically down here, I had done all the dishes. Now, my 19-year-old daughter, she started by cooking in this pot a freaking month ago. And I've been asking her to do her fucking dishes. This shit's been sitting down here for like a month. And same thing with my, son that lives here. Is some of this his? Probably. Is it all his? No, it's not. My middle daughter says she's moving out. Because she thinks she can dictate to me how much rent she pays. And not ever, ever help around here with nothing. And what the hell is this shit? Like, I don't know, members in France. Like, honest fucking God, I don't know how long I'm going to be able to keep this shit up with this stupid house. Because, hold on a minute. I asked my landlord the last time he came by to pick up the rent, which was about a week ago, if he's trying to force me out. Because I don't get it, people. Like, how long does it take to fucking fix something? You tell me why. That's my responsibility. So this guy, Andrew, come here. He did $250 worth of work, and then he got fed up because the pipe is still fucking leaking here. And he didn't want to have to start ripping out all this shit to go find out where it's fucking leaking. He said you need a proper solder. You need a proper person with a proper soldering gun and whatever, with the right kind of whatever to seal this crap. Every time you take a shower upstairs or you go to use the sink, it all comes running down and it's just molding up the bathroom all over again. It's like they want this house to be fucking molded up. And then we wonder why my kids are like shitting on me. And then there's this trashed up fucking garage. Seriously. You know, I come out here, I work, I do whatever I can. You know, recycling. There's my landlord's fucking rotten board. That I paid for. But I guess it's just gonna go to waste, right? Because nobody's helping me to install this shit. I already paid $100 for somebody to do some yard work, and I don't see this person showing up that my landlord's supposed to help pay to help with this fucking yard. You know, everybody just walks on by. Doesn't matter if it's my landlord or it's my fucking kids. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, I'm so sick and shit, so sick and tired of this crap, man. So sick and tired of this fucking crap. But you're not supposed to have nice things around you, Judy. Because as soon as you make it nice for yourself, somebody's gonna come along and fucking trash it on you, right? And then say you're the one with the problem, right?